The silver price is now reaching almost new 14-year highs. Therefore, investors are asking themselves which stocks could be the one that they could be invested in, where it makes a lot of sense and there is long-term potential ahead. Exactly one of these stocks, namely First Majestic Silver, is a stock that we are going to discuss about in this video. Stay tuned, we're going to continue right after the intro. Hello and welcome to yet another video from Bloomberg Capital. My name is Patrick and today we're going to be looking at First Majestic Silver. I have brought you a very clean chart as we will be discussing mainly the chart. However, let me tell you why I think this stock is going to rise very soon. And it's one of those stocks that didn't really run very hard. For instance, if you look at Pan American Silver or Endeavor Silver Mining, they already had a huge run, but now First Majestic is just waking up. Therefore, it makes a lot of sense to look into the stock because it could be a next moonshot type of investment. So let's get into it. Why do I think that First Majestic Silver is going to rise in price? Well, first of all, silver prices have surged to a 14-year high, especially once we reached $41 per ounce. This further boosts the interest for silver miners, especially in the investor class. When you look at, for instance, big institutions, they usually look at stuff that is trending to the upside. So what happens is when silver prices are going up, many investors start going into mining stocks, for instance, because they want to be exposed to the higher beta. This makes more institutions be aware of that fact because the price naturally goes up when the initial investors are coming, and therefore more and more investments are being made. However, this also makes the price accelerate to the upside, which we are currently seeing at the moment, which puts the stock in everybody's radar, but not really in the public, but I mean on the smart money's radar. And that's exactly what we're seeing at the moment, and therefore it makes a lot of sense to trade into the direction of the smart money, which is to the upside. Furthermore, there is also growing demand of silver in the tech sector. As you know, silver is increasingly being used in electronics and green technologies, and therefore many producers of that silver will benefit from higher earnings. That paired with the price of silver rising will also give us the boost that we need for exiting this range, okay? So this is the other fundamental driver that should be bullish. But now let's look at the chart from a technical perspective and give you potential actionable points where we could be headed. So I've drawn a range here. This is where the premium of that range is, and this is a range low here. And what we're currently seeing is that we have a 2-year rounded bottom. Why a 2-year? Well, look at this. This is July of 2022. We have formed a range that lasts from 2022 until May of this year. So this was a range of 2 years, and it ended this downtrend that we had. Now notice that we couldn't really form a new low in this downtrend, which is very significant, and it attempted to rally higher but failed in 2016. However, that low in 2016 was not really touched. Therefore, we can assume that lots of people stepped in here, especially if you are from the institutional magnitude, and they kept prices from falling. And therefore, lots of pressure is currently here being built up to make the stock rally and potentially rally higher up in space more than you can imagine. So what do we need to do now? Well, first of all, we need to produce a rally that is of the best quality. So far, this rally is much better than the rally that we had here, and also much better than this rally here. It isn't really on par with this rally. However, if it extends and reaches out to the highs, it will also be the best rally of here. Therefore, this would mean that there is lots of institutional interest and therefore more institutions are buying in. Then we only need to really consolidate here and then get our follow-through push to the upside, which should propel this price about $50 in the midterm, which means 1.5 years from now. This could be very likely be the target price here. However, once we reach that level, there is even more potential to the upside, and it is face melting potential to the upside, because if silver and gold are running the way they are running, this company should accelerate their margins even more, especially the higher prices silver and gold reach. Therefore, I would assume that we are going to get some corrections along the way. However, the long-term picture here in this chart clearly points to much more highs and therefore a very big investment. Well, I'm calling this out for silver charts. I also did this for Agnico Eagle Mining for our Discord members. And if you don't know what our Discord is, it's basically an investment community where you can join for free, ask your questions, and receive chart analysis by us. And we also have a premium offering that allows you to get access to our analysis of over 180 stocks, including gold, silver, and even the mining stocks. So here is a clean chart that I had for Agnico Eagle Mining that we suggested to our members, where we highlighted it was at $60. Now we are reaching 160. And this is one of those moonshots that we were assuming, which yielded over 180% price increase since the time it was suggested as an investment. Now, AG, First Majestic Silver, is one of those similar type of investments that we are suggesting. However, of course, this is just an educational piece on YouTube, so nothing should be construed as financial advice. However, if you like the best-in-class analysis, simply do check out our Discord channel, and if you subscribe to our premium group, there you will find these stocks and much more that offer similar type of yield. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.